Hello everybody, welcome back to Strictly Story Mode Gaming. Please join me for a very different kind of game than the open world RPGs I normally cover. In the last few months, I've been knees deep in playing dozens of indie titles in my ballooning catalog, including those that require more nimble fingers than what is currently attached to my body. So the other week, I was cursing up a storm on a precision platformer. My husband actually said to me, "Why don't you just watch a Let's Play?" Can you believe that? So for all the fellas out there, playing a game to get the handling and the feels of a game versus watching is akin to a nudie magazine versus the real thing. And for innocent clean minds like me, it's the difference between watching a dance-off and getting jiggy with it. And I like to try out the moves. For somebody with messed up hands from decades of keyboard and mouse abuse, these precision platformers present a conundrum. If a hardcore platformer has been explicitly designed to be fun for the dexterity challenge, is it even worth playing with built-in assist modes, mods, and cheats? The answer is complicated and dependent on each game. Brutal, unforgiving platformers like Cuphead, I learned, is not for me, even with mods to extend lives. And it's only by playing for more than an hour or two of the actual game as intended, I could see the fun elements that would be rewarding enough to mash up my thumbs for. In a kind of game speed dating, I ripped through more than a dozen platformers in the last few months, and some, forget about it. But most were so good, I've actually been pulled away from my one true love. Back to the game that made me into a total Eric Cartman. The King's Bird by Serenity Forge is a rare momentum-based platformer that has the most delicious feeling of flight I've felt in a game. I've also rage quit this game 4 times now. You play as a little girl named Quill in a kingdom guarded by a magic barrier. Now, Quill really wants to go explore outside the boundaries of the kingdom, but the Tyrant King will have none of that. I love that their exchanges are this operatic dialogue. Wouldn't it be lovely if disciplinary talks with your kids sounded like that? Of course, Quill is determined for an adventure, and she manages to sneak into the temple, only to be caught and to be told off again. The story of Quill's forbidden exploration of other fallen dead kingdoms is just a thin veneer over the various platforming challenges. And it was really the soundtrack combined with the flight mechanic that really won me over. The King's Bird has a very unique form of dynamic sound where Quill, she only sings when she is flying. Listen. Even compared to other 3D games like Vane, where you play as an actual bird with flight as the main mechanic, there is something strangely more heady and addictive in this 2D platformer. This game got a lot of mixed reviews and was roundly criticized for fiddly, unpredictable controls. The levels needed precision, but the flying mechanic lacked the precise controls needed. games like Ori and Hollow Knight, your controllers and your character were pretty much one, and you could predict the movement physics fairly accurately. In the King's Bird, half the time, if you move your thumbstick up to jump, Quill would dive bomb, often resulting in a suicide move. So the King's Bird is difficult to master, apparently for even those good at platforming. Serenity Forge does include several assist features, including invincibility and no drag on her flight cloak. But for a non-platformer like me, even with assist, it was a heaping serving of frustration, punctuated by a few glorious seconds of flight. Quill would pretty much ricochet all over the place. I do feel a bit sad for the King's Bird because it could have been more like Journey, with potential to be more meaningful to a larger audience on a narrative level. Time and budget constraints definitely held it back, but the inherent nature of it being a niche precision platformer means very few will play it in a gaming market that's already saturated with mind-blowingly excellent indie platformers. Still, there is sheer joy when you do fluidly fly around this world. Because of the momentum physics, there really is nothing like it that gives you the exhilaration of flight acceleration. And these minimalist bold backgrounds provide just enough backdrop to support your fantasy of flight. I really wanted to share this unique game with you. Thank you for joining me. Let's meet again in the next world.